Hey, what's going on, nation? Today I'm going to share with you guys 3 reasons why your abs refuse to show. And I'm not going to be covering diet. That's pretty obvious, guys. In order to see abs, you have to have a low body fat percentage. What I'm going to be talking about in this video is those of you who are killing yourself to try to get your abs to grow to be nice, blocky blocks, but it's just not happening for you. Because when you flex, you want them to look like this, and you want them to pop, and that's what I'm going to be helping you guys with. So if you like videos like this, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you turn on video notifications so you never miss a new video upload. So the first reason why a lot of you guys are probably having a hard time building up your abs is because you do not go into spinal flexion and extension during your abdominal crunches. And I see this all the time at the gym. That's why it's number 1. And this is for machines and for floor. Anytime you do abs, you have to have spinal extension to stretch out the rectus abdominis, and then spinal flexion in order to crunch and squeeze the area. It has to happen. I'm going to lay down on the floor real quick. This is where most people start their ab training, is on the floor, doing a simple floor crunch. So that's where I'm going to explain this to you guys. When doing a floor crunch, most people when they do abs, it's almost like they just want to get through it as fast as they possibly can, just to kind of get abs done, you know. They'll spend an hour doing a bicep curl, but when it comes time to abs, it's go up and down as fast as you can, and then get the hell out of the gym. You can't think like that. So when you guys are doing abdominal crunches, it can't be just this, where you come down, up, bounce, and come up, and just kind of throw yourself everywhere, and not really focus on feeling the muscles contracting. You have to have that same kind of mind-muscle connection with your abs that you do with every other muscle in your body. So when I say going into spinal flexion and extension, when you guys are doing an abdominal crunch, what you want to do is every time you come down or you go to the upper portion of the crunch, you basically want to force that spinal extension so you can have an arch in your back, and you're going to force your abs to kind of open up like this. Get a nice stretch through the rectus abdominis. That's why I put my hands behind my head when I crunch. And then what you're going to do as you come up is really focusing on coming up, but getting that flexion as well. So you see I'm bending on my lower back right here. Bend that lower back, come all the way up and squeeze, and then come back down. Do it again, extension, come up, flexion, and every single exercise movement needs to look like that. Now, you'll notice in the gym when people are doing like ab pull downs or weighted abdominal crunches, it's like they'll hold on to the weight and just go like this, or just kind of rotate at the hip and not really get any extension or flexion. They'll literally be in one stiff position to try to move as much weight as possible. And they're bending at the hips instead of actually getting the abdominals to do the work. So that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, guys, is that you're not breathing out as you perform your repetitions. And that's crucial when it comes to ab training. If you're not breathing properly when doing your reps, you're going to be missing out on basically the top portion of every single repetition that you're doing. So for example, if you're on the ground again and you're doing abdominal crunches, if you go all the way down like this, if you take in a breath at the bottom and then come up to the top and you're here and you're still holding your breath, you're not going to be able to get that real tight, deep squeeze and flex at the top that you would if you were to breathe the air out. And I'll demonstrate. I'll go down, take in a breath, come to the top, and this is where I'm at without breathing out. Now check out my lower back as I breathe the air out of my system. I'm able to get a way bit more of a crunch at the top of the movement just from breathing out. And I'll do a different abdominal crunch. You guys can see the difference. This is called the hands over knees crunch. It's very intense if you've never done it before. But the way this crunch works is you come up and you want to bring your hands over your knees and you want to flex your abs as high as you can. Now if I hold my breath and try to go up, it's like a blocking myself. I can't get up over my knees that well because all the air in my core is holding me back. It's like I have this big bubble just kind of sitting there. But if you breathe out as you come up, you can really pull in and tighten and squeeze your abs and also come up much further. See, now I'm actually able to get basically my palms over my knees if I breathe out. And every single abdominal movement that you do, guys, whether it's weighted crunches or body weight crunches, always make sure you breathe out. And as you get to the end of the rep, squeeze your abs as tight as you can every single time. Focus on that mind-muscle connection. And then the final reason why a lot of you guys will never see your abs show is because you don't hit them with enough frequency or enough resistance. And this is a big one. You guys can train your abs 3 to 4 times a week if you really want to see results. What I typically like to do is split my abs up into 2 workouts and then repeat those workouts throughout the week. So I'll do one day where I'll focus mostly on exercises that target upper and lower, and then I'll have another day where I do exercises that target mostly lower and obliques. Then I'll rest the day and then I'll repeat. And that's what I'm doing, like my ab training at the most hardcore, trying to hit it 4 days a week. And the other part of this equation is if you guys aren't doing enough resistance training with your abs, you're definitely not going to be able to start to build the blocks, okay? Your abs are going to respond to resistance training like any other muscle in your body. If you want big biceps, you can't be lifting 10 pounds every time you go to the gym and doing 80 to 90 repetitions with that. But people seem to think when they train their abs, if they do 20, 30, 40, 50 reps every time they go and they just use their body weight, that they're going to build those blocky abs. For me, I've always found that it's been a combination of both. So for example, the first 2 days I train my abs, I'll hit them with really high volume. And then the next 2 days I train my abs, I go for more weighted exercises and hit them with heavy weights, staying within that like 10 to 12 rep range in order to really rip and tear and break them down to build the blocks. And so what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to link you to another video I did all about building blocky abs, and that will definitely help you get on the right track, and it has examples of the workouts that I do, so you guys can have all the tools you need to go to the gym. And one last thing before I go, this is something really cool that I actually keep at my house as well. It's an ab mat, and I actually have links for this. This is from Iron Bull Strength. I'll put this down in the info section below. You guys can get 10% off this website. But this is something that's really cool to have around you at home. A lot of gyms have these too. But if you're not used to going into spinal flexion and extension when you do your abs, this forces it. So all you do is put it down on the ground, and then when you lay on it like this, as you can see from the starting position, I already have to generate a lot more force just to get off the ground. So from here, I'm going to generate more force and come up. I'm going to squeeze my abs and breathe out and do the same thing and come down just like this and come back up and breathe out as you come up, guys. Don't just breathe out at the top. You should be breathing out the entire time you crunch and squeezing those abs. So I hope you enjoyed these tips, and I hope they help you take your ab training to the next level. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in that comment section below. Be sure to smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. And as always, more good stuff coming soon. See ya.